We all know how ugly and devastating racism can be, personally, professionally, socially. But I found out in the most unusual of ways, it's not illegal. Go figure. Here's what happened. There was no video last week, but it's not my fault. Don't blame me. Blame Steve Harvey. He invited me and the rest of the cast of A Different World to come do his show to promote an event that we're doing at Norfolk State University on April 16th. Depending on when you see this video, that might be next Saturday, or it could be about a month ago. I don't know. But what happened was that I traveled United Airlines first class. I've had the privilege of flying United Airlines first class often. Mostly I used to fly out of Newark Airport in Newark, New Jersey. The fun thing about that was my girlfriend at the time, her mother was a supervisor at United Airlines. And I got to know many of the other supervisors there and became friendly with them. One of the great things of being friends with supervisors, when you had upgrade certificates, you always got moved to that empty seat in first class. One morning I was traveling on United first class and I was waiting in line. One of the representatives for United, this woman came up to me and asked me, "Are you traveling first class?" There were about 12 people in line, and I was probably about the 7th person in line. But she came directly up to me and asked me, "Are you traveling first class?" "Why do you ask?" She said, "Because we always check to make sure that everyone is traveling in first class, that they're in the right line." "Yeah, but why did you ask me? You haven't asked anyone else if they're traveling first class." And she said, "But I'm asking you." I said, "I understand you're asking me. I'm asking you. Why are you asking me?" She said, "Sir, can you just tell me if you're traveling first class?" I said, "No, I want you to tell me why, of all the people in line, why did you just come to me in the middle of the line to ask me if I'm traveling first class? Why haven't you asked anyone else?" At that moment, she went to the front of the line. "Are you traveling first class? Are you traveling first class? Are you traveling first class? Are you traveling first class?" She rolled on me like that. I said, "Yes, I am." Then she said, "Let me see your ticket." "Really? You want to see my ticket?" The answer wasn't enough. "Yes, sir, let me confirm your ticket." So I proceeded to then show her my ticket. Once she saw it, she started to walk away. I said, "Wait a minute. Why haven't you asked to see anyone else's ticket here in first class?" "Sir, I simply asked for your ticket because you don't look like you should be traveling first class." That's what she said. She said it directly to my face. "You don't look like you should be traveling first class." What does a first class passenger look like? I want you to describe for me right now as an agent for United Airlines. Tell me, what does a first class passenger look like? Why is it you singled me out? You asked me not only if I'm traveling, you demanded proof that I was traveling, all of which you neglected to ask of anyone else in line, and now you're telling me I don't look like I belong in first class. What's the difference? This woman twisted her lips to say, "Well, you're young and you have on headphones." I got my United ticket. I pointed to all the fine print. I said, "You show me where in anywhere of United Airlines rules and regulations does it stipulate that if you are young and wear headphones, you don't look like you belong in first class? Better yet, why don't you tell me where it shows if you're young and wear headphones, you can't fly first class on United? Show it to me. Show me anything that says that." Okay, you gotta imagine. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm traveling with all of the business travelers. The entire terminal is packed, and I am speaking at the top of my lungs. Everyone can hear me. It's echoing throughout the entire terminal. She then just says, "Enjoy your flight, sir," and walks away, thoroughly humiliated. But she never did anything else. But then, the most amazing thing happened. Everyone sees in the movie that one person that claps and then everyone starts to clap gradually, like the pin ceremony in A Beautiful Mind, where one professor brought a pin, then the next one brought a pin, and another one brought a pin. A woman came out of line ahead of me. "I can't believe what just happened. You handled it extraordinarily well, and better than I ever would have. here's my card. If you need me to testify or to write a letter as to what I just saw, I'm happy to do it. Then another gentleman from behind me. Then people from across the terminal, all passengers, started to walk to me and give me their cards and tell me, if you need anyone to testify, I'll do that for you. I can't believe what I saw. Sir, I am so embarrassed for what you just went through. It was extraordinary. I wasn't sure what to do, but it seemed logical that, well, everyone else seemed to think it was racist and that somehow I had a good case. A friend is a civil rights and discrimination attorney. I called and said, let me tell you the story. You won't believe what happened to me at the airport. I described everything that happened, and she said, listen, I know you're angry, and I'm sure it was embarrassing, and I know all of these people who saw it and supported you probably felt the same way. You don't have a case. How could I not have a case? This woman clearly singled me out because I was the only black person in line and challenged me in the most defiant way to prove that I belonged in first class. She went so far as to actually say, I don't look like I belong there. I was told all true. Technically, she probably could have called you a racial slur and told you you didn't belong there. But unless you were denied boarding the flight or getting your ticket because of it, you don't have any damages. Racial utterances or even racist behavior is not illegal. No kidding. I thought about it. I suppose freedom of speech, you can go out and call people names. You really don't have an action. I get it that you don't have damages. But the funny thing is, United Airlines could have actually fired her. Consequences could have been imposed on her in that way, but I had no remedy. Naturally, I told my girlfriend's mother and the other supervisors. I wrote a letter to United and described my outrage. I even received a letter, unsolicited, from one of the other passengers who described what they saw and their outrage and how they wanted to try to pursue a case. In the end, United made her write me an apology letter, which I received, and mandated that she take sensitivity training so this would never happen again. But she didn't lose her job. The other supervisors at United Newark Terminal told me that she had a, say, disposition to these sorts of outbursts, but I suppose she was unsuspecting of the type of reaction that I would actually have, and that it would be crafted in the way that it was at 6 o'clock in the morning so loudly. United also tendered to me a gift certificate to fly anywhere I wanted on United first class. I saw this for what it was, an isolated incident, particularly when I know so many other United employees and all of my other travel experiences on United have been great. So I was happy to fly United Airlines to the Steve Harvey show, particularly in Chicago where United has Garrett's popcorn in their terminal. That's just fabulous. And that's how I learned in the 90s that racism isn't illegal, but it's still ugly and needs to be fought at every corner of the globe. Thanks for watching this week. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm almost at 50. I'm gonna continue grinding away and telling more great stories. Please subscribe, which should be over here or over there. The subscribe button is there. Leave me a comment. Connect with me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Share the video if you liked it with friends you think might enjoy it and some of my other stories. Tune in next week for a new story, and until next Thursday, that's what happened.